Burn Rogue, we're just going to jump straight into the list here. This is actually a burn deck or a face deck. I'm just going to be trying to set our opponent's health total to 0 as quickly as possible. Quack! At this time, I'd like to remind you also that all sound effects on this channel are performed live by yours truly. But looking back at the deck here, though, you can see we actually top out at a 4 mana with Dubious Purchase. Every other card in the deck is 2 mana or less, and you're going to notice that we have a lot of card draw in the deck as well. So we're really just looking to cycle through our deck as quickly as possible to be able to find that burn damage to finish off our opponent. So every game is going to be the same and a little bit different. It's the same in that in the early game we're going to be looking for some of our cheaper minions to start getting chip damage against our opponent. And then as the game moves into the late game for this deck, which is probably actually mid-game for Hearthstone, we're going to be looking to finish our opponent with whatever cards that we can get out of our deck that deal damage. So, you know, rocks from the Rock Skipper, eviscerates, maybe the Cinder Sword with 4 attack is going to be good. So that's kind of the general game plan of the deck here. A couple of honorable mentions. Cinder Sword, a lot of the time it's going to be correct to hold this until we have a Dark Gift minion in hand to be able to get this to 4 attack. And the ways that we do that are going to be the Nightmare, Fuel, and Creature of Madness. You can just play this for 1 mana, but keeping in mind, as we're going through the game, spending mana, taking our turns, 2 mana for a hero power is going to be the same amount of damage as this. So a lot of times it's actually correct to hold this just in case we may top deck one of these options to be able to get a Dark Gift minion in hand. Cultist map here, this can potentially draw 2 cards, important to keep that in mind. A lot of card draw available from the Dubious Purchase, and a lot of times we're going to be playing this not even necessarily to destroy a minion, or if it hits a small minion, we don't really care. We're really just looking to get cards out of our deck to be able to continue to press damage. A couple of Shadow Step effects, we have Web of Deception and of course Shadow Step itself. I would say the prime targets for the deck are probably the Rock Skipper, just to be able to get some of these additional 3 damage 1 mana spells in our hand. Sometimes you can get 2, 3, maybe even 4 rocks in your hand, which could be anywhere from 6 to 12 additional damage as we're looking to close out our opponent. Potentially also may want to target the Eridar Skulker. This card definitely gets an honorable mention in the deck. Typically we want to play this out as a combo with 3 attack and stealth, and then the following turn we would want to attack our opponent, and then we would want to play a spell to be able to put it back into stealth with 5 attack. So potentially you may also want to pick this back up and play it back out in stealth to be able to do that process again. You can actually generate a lot of damage out of the Eridar Skulker. And I would say too, with the Shadow Step effects, Web of Deception, a lot of times you may even want to target what you might consider to be more worthless minions, simply because you want to be able to get that 4/4 stealth to be able to go into our opponent's face. So really, the entire game plan of the deck is just punching our opponent in the face and winning as quickly as possible. Right off the bat, we've got a Warrior. I don't like any of these. I get in the mulligan most often, I'm looking for like Collector, Sizzling Cinder, and Eridar Skulker. It helps to have a way to be able to combo these. Against Warrior, it's possible that they don't have a good way to remove this, so maybe we just go ahead and play it out on turn 2 rather than Hero Power. Essentially, we have a way to be able to activate the second portion of this to get additional damage. I'm just going to go ahead and get the Skulker in play. So this is definitely a slow start. Not exactly what I would prefer, but we're going to have to play the cards as we receive them. Next turn I can Platasaur Skulker to be able to get 1 in stealth. Not really super worried about discards off of the Platasaur ever in any game. There's not really one individual card that losing will cost us the game. That's interesting. I can actually play all 3, which I think I want to do just to be able to get chip damage, but we're going to start with this. See what we come out with. Sizzling Cinder. Again, I don't really care if I lose that, and it actually gets me closer to like additional card draw. Rock Skippers Eviscerate, so that's fine. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get down the other Skulker here. Would really like to see a top deck of a spell to be able to activate both of these. Now we see what we're going to be up against here. We actually hit a Shadow Step. So I am going to do this, this, and I'm I'm going to Shadow Step this guy, because it's going to allow me to put a lot of power into play here. We draw a Rock Skipper, which we're just going to play on the board as well. And again, we're just trying to push as much damage face as we can. We're low on cards, though, which is kind of atypical in my experience for this deck. Let's see what they have. Hopefully no way to really be able to clear the board here. I don't think so. It's good for us right off the bat. That was expected. And next turn they'll be able to coin out the 4-8 and clear our board. We hit the Dubious Purchase. The question is, do we need to save it for next turn? So we have, let's see, 8, 10, 11, plus 3, plus 5 is 16, 17. We're actually just one off. And I'm just going to go ahead and push the 1 here. And we see our opponent concede. So I wanted to push the 1 there because assuming that I can't go face because my opponent plays the target dummy, then top deck Rock Skipper would potentially be a way to win the game just with that 3 damage. So that's the reason why we made that particular play. And it looks like we hit a Death Knight here. This is the hardest matchup for the deck by far. I want to keep Web of Deception. I would like to ideally play this and then Web of Deception turn 2. I don't think this realistically survives against Death Knight, though. You're going to be highly incentivized to remove it. Even if it's just Coin Hero Power, I would... Well, Coin Hero Power removes this, but the 1-2 between Dreadhound Handler and the... what is it? Infected Breath that summons a Lich. We're going to make our plays like this. It can be hard to find the damage against Death Knight because of the leeches. The leech just swings so much damage on the board. Like if they remove a minion... Ooh. We'll see if we can hit a big minion off of the Creature of Madness here. Divine Shield Wind Fury. The problem that I run into with this card is that it just stays dormant the entire game. I've had 2 separate games where I've taken this, it had charge, and it got up to like 11 or 13 attack and just stayed dormant. 50% chance. Whack! Don't really believe that. The Reborn is good. I think the 2-2 and Elusive, it's just going to be hard for our opponent to remove here. So we like that. Probably just play it next turn as the 3-5. We'd like to see that damage go on face. We're going to get down this guy and push here. So, going back to the leeches, you think if they coin Sanguine Infestation, they remove this, so they save 1 damage. They would gain 2 health, so that's 3 damage, and then I probably have to kill both leeches, which would be an additional 4. So when you think about that much damage being swung on the board, it just helps the Death Knight so much because we're a burn deck, but we also have limited reach with this deck. Good draw with Web Weaver. Good draw with the Cultist map. Could draw with Platosaur here. All damage is definitely going face, so I'm going to get that out of the way while I'm thinking about what I'm doing here. And I think we're just going to Cultist map. We need more cards out of our deck. And the Shadow Step is going to be really good for us here. We're going to play our Rock guy. We're going to pick him back up. This allows us to thin our deck, get an additional card, as well as an additional Rock. And we're just going to take the other Rock Skipper here. No reason not to put this guy back into play. So you can see here, just generating the additional rocks off of the Shadow Step is probably one of the better plays, one of the better Shadow Step targets. Unfortunately, they have a 4-8 here that we're going to have to sink a lot of damage into. mean, I could go Rock and Dubious Purchase. Dubious Purchase is probably the play. The 4-8 is really unfortunate, though, that they were able to hit that. I could go this to draw. At this point, the 1 out of 3 play is going to be our best option. Unfortunately, we miss it. And we also did not hit a preparation to be able to do additional things this turn, so we're in a little bit of a tough spot already. This is basically opponent gains 8 health. Game was looking pretty good until then, and now we're kind of getting to the phase where the leeches are going to be even harder for us to deal with. The good news is this does die to an Eviscerate if we can find one. The bad news is they're gaining lots of health here. Could even just be like hero power swing into this. I think it's a good time to get down our Web Weaver. Again, we're just looking to draw cards. We're going to need every bit of damage that we can possibly find. Space Rock Collector. Nightmare Fool. Which I think we probably just go ahead and use. We actually have the Ziliax for next turn. The Silence is also interesting, but I think the Ziliax next turn, even though it's a little bit smaller, is going to be our best possible play. And I'm just going to go ahead and remove this, hit the smaller minion, and go face here. Unfortunately, our opponent gains at least another 5, and they're just drawing so many cards. So not really expecting to win this game, but we always want to play it out. Maybe we can make the magic happen. Certainly the Bloated Leech, the 6-mana thing, we don't want to see. That was really interesting. We actually still have the Web Weaver on board. So it's probably actually best to just draw as many cards as we can. Again, we're going to need every bit of what we have. This is a really, really weird game. Space Rock Collector. I kind of want to hold the Rock Skipper because I want additional ways to be able to get more rocks, basically, before I do anything else. There's another Eviscerate, and then we just Web of Deception here, and our damage goes face. And I'm not going to use my combo discount on this. Might want to use it on a Dubious Purchase. Again, weird game. Eridar Skulker's hiding from us this game. No leeches from our Death Knight opponent. We might actually be able to find a way to sneak one out. That's a lot of stuff on the board, but we're pushing a lot of damage here. If they've gotten to their Ziliax, I think this game potentially starts to get really hard. We have 7, 10, 18, they're at 24. We have a Shadow Step and a Web of Deception in the deck, and we have ways to draw. Actually, is that lethal? We have 5, 7, 10, 13, 21, 22. Activate the Cinder Sword? How close is Ceaseless here? Ceaseless is actually really close. It's probably playable next turn. This with Charge. I'm not counting the damage right. So we have 10, 12. I'm going to take the Ceaseless for next turn. That may have not been the pick. And I need to go ahead and get my damage in while I can. And actually, I did miss lethal. I think I just missed lethal here, because I had a 1 mana discount that I used on Nightmare Fuel. No, I didn't, because if I didn't have this minion in hand, I wouldn't have had the active Cinder Sword, so at least I didn't miss lethal here. I don't know why this is so expensive, though. Because according to my deck tracker, it should be significantly cheaper. See how much healing they're able to get here. Again, Bloated Leech is almost like a backbreaker. Both Eviscerates gone. Only one Rock Skipper left in the deck. Potentially some magic off of the Cultist map. He's at 7 and I have exactly 7. Or no, he's at 8 and I have 7. I do have the Ziliax just to buy time. But at this point, I think Cultist map... I'm going to start with the Cultist map. Dubious Purchase. We don't have enough mana. It's probably still Doobie. I don't want to put minions on the board. 10, 14, 15. I really don't want to put minions on the board. I'm going to take the Dubious Purchase and just draw cards here. And we'll take the Preparation. We're definitely going to swing face. We will re-equip a weapon. Going to pass turn. I don't want to play minions in case they hit the Ziliax. I don't want them to have targets here. Still might need to hit the Rock Skipper to be able to find the damage to kill our opponent. They might be able to heal with leeches here as well, so we're kind of at the mercy of what our opponent is going to be able to do. Really, really weird game against this Death Knight, though. I'm glad that I didn't concede out of the game, but I feel like they've definitely low-rolled their draw. But at the end of the day, you never know when your opponent is going to low roll, and so that's why you want to try to stay in the game for as long as possible. If there's no taunt, I think we're winning, but they can generate a random undead. Certainly there's cards that can just prevent us from being able to kill them. That 5/6 would certainly do it. Snap pick from them. This is a lot of healing. They actually go to 10. Shadow Step. I mean, I have the Ziliax now. Could even just Ceaseless. But then I'm so close to dead, I guess it's a Ziliax play. And then Web of Deception to pick it back up. And I probably have to target leeches here, to be honest. I need to save the Shadow Step, I think, for the Rock Skipper. I can Web of Deception here. Get a stealth minion in play. This damage goes face. Opponent's still gonna heal. It's maybe better to kill this. I'll hold where I'm at. I've got an additional copy of the Ziliax here. Actually, this has turned into a value game, surprisingly enough. Still have a Ceaseless play. Important to note that they're going to have that play as well. Likely that they're going to have a Ziliax. They're going to be able to heal a lot, but we can respond with our own. It's kind of feeling like we're just not going to be able to find lethal because our opponent is just going to continue to heal their way out of it. This is a really, really interesting game of Hearthstone. Seven in hand, potentially additional 6 in deck. Are we just dead to Grifta? That would be a really, really anticlimactic way to end this game if we just died to Grifta damage. And our opponent heals a metric ton. We're gonna have the Ziliax though. So we have the Ziliax, we get to push a lot. Go ahead and do this. Ziliax is going to allow us to push 8 damage here. Cinder Sword's still in deck as well, so I probably want to set up as much damage as I possibly can, I think. Still just kind of expecting to lose here. Their Ziliax heals them so much that we probably just realistically can no longer kill them. Shaladrasil, I think we actually just died to the Shaladrasil here. Corrupted Shaladrasil ends it. Unfortunately, we gave it our best shot though. We were really close to being able to get there. Just couldn't find that last little bit of damage. The darn Rock Skipper hiding inside of our deck.